She was just a little girl sitting on a cold marble floor, tears falling silently, her world crumbling in ways she didn't understand. He was just the janitor, mop in one hand, heart in the other. But when he pulled out a bottle of soap bubbles, everything changed. What he didn't know was that someone very powerful had been watching. Welcome to Whispers of Kindness, where ordinary moments reveal extraordinary hearts. Every morning at 6:45 sharp, Daniel arrived at the Sterling Heights corporate tower with a thermos of cheap black coffee, a folded note from his 6-year-old son tucked in his breast pocket, and a quiet determination in his step. He was the janitor, invisible to most, acknowledged by few, but to Daniel, this job was a lifeline. It helped him raise his boy, Caleb, ever since his wife passed away during childbirth. Life had been anything but gentle, but Daniel had learned to find dignity in mops and polish, in silence and small smiles. It was a rainy Thursday when everything changed. He was wiping down the gleaming marble floors in the building's grand lobby when he heard soft sobs. It wasn't uncommon for the corporate world to be cruel, but these sobs were different, tiny, fragile, and coming from someone small. Looking up, he spotted a little girl curled near one of the lobby's tall glass windows. Blonde curls tumbled over her teary eyes, her knees hugged to her chest. She couldn't have been older than 5. No adult in sight. No nanny. No parent. Just this child, breaking apart quietly in a marble palace of indifference. Daniel didn't approach immediately. Years of experience had taught him how people viewed boundaries, especially when a janitor tried to talk to a rich man's daughter. But this girl, she looked lost. And Daniel knew too well what that felt like. He walked to the corner, opened his cleaning cart, and pulled out something he kept not for work, but for his son, a small bottle of soap bubbles. Caleb loved them. Whenever life felt too heavy, Daniel would blow bubbles and Caleb would giggle like the weight of the world had disappeared. Maybe it would help her too. He sat cross-legged across from the girl, no words, just distance and presence. Then he dipped the wand into the soap, lifted it to his lips, and blew gently. A soft orb floated into the air, glowing, wobbling, dancing in the light. The girl blinked through her tears. He blew another. And another. Soon, the child was reaching out, giggling faintly as she tried to catch one. A bubble popped on her finger, and she laughed, really laughed. Daniel smiled. "That's the magic," he whispered softly, almost to himself. She didn't speak, but she moved closer, now sitting across from him, mirroring his position. They sat there like that, a janitor and a little girl, in a moment of pure, unjudged humanity. But what Daniel didn't know, was that someone had just stepped out of the executive elevator. Eleanor Sterling, CEO of Sterling Global Holdings, was not known for sentiment. She had built her empire with precision, calculation, and a legendary lack of patience for distractions. She had one child, her daughter, Lily, whom she loved but rarely saw outside of business hours. Eleanor believed in providing everything her daughter could ever need, except time. She had been in a meeting on the 30th floor when her assistant had whispered nervously, "There's a delay with Lily's pickup. She's waiting in the lobby." Irritated, Eleanor took the executive lift down herself, planning to make a call and arrange a new driver. But when the elevator doors slid open, she froze. Across the lobby, she saw her daughter, the same daughter who often seemed guarded and reserved, even at home, giggling with a janitor. Sitting on the floor. Blowing bubbles. Not toys, not tablets, not platinum credit cards. Bubbles. And the man, she recognized him faintly. Daniel, she thought. Single dad. Been working here for a few years. Quiet. Respectful. Never caused a ripple in her tightly controlled world. But today, that ripple had turned into something more. Eleanor stepped forward, arms crossed, her heels clicking on the marble. The bodyguards moved as if to approach, but she raised a hand to stop them. She wanted to see. The janitor noticed her only when the girl's eyes lit up. "Mommy!" Lily squealed, running toward her. Eleanor bent down, instinctively catching her. Daniel stood up quickly, apologetic. "I didn't mean to, I just saw she was upset and—" Eleanor raised a hand again. But this time, not to silence, to acknowledge. "You did more than most would," she said, her voice surprisingly soft. "You saw her." Daniel hesitated. "She just looked like she needed to laugh." Eleanor looked at him, really looked at him. The lines under his eyes. The slightly worn uniform. The kindness in his face. "You have children?" "A son," Daniel nodded. 6. Loves bubbles. She was quiet for a long moment. "Do you like cleaning floors?" He gave a half smile. "I like feeding my boy. Cleaning's just how I get there." She nodded slowly, then looked at her daughter. "Lily," she asked gently, "did you have fun with this man?" Lily grinned. He made the sad go away. It was a line that stayed with Eleanor for the rest of the day. By the next morning, the entire staff of Sterling Heights Tower was whispering. The janitor, Daniel, had been called upstairs. Not for termination, but for promotion. Eleanor had created a new role, wellness and hospitality liaison. A position designed to bridge the human gap between the towering walls of business and the people who made those walls stand. And she had one person in mind for it. "I don't know how to be fancy," Daniel had said when she offered. "You know how to be kind," she replied. "That's rarer than fancy." Months later, Daniel's life had transformed. A better income. More time with Caleb. A new respect in a world that once looked through him. But the one thing that didn't change was the bubble bottle, always in his coat pocket. Just in case someone, someday, needed to smile. And every so often, Lily would stop by the lobby with her mother, run to Daniel, and whisper, "Can we blow bubbles again?" He always said yes. Because sometimes, changing a life doesn't take $1 million. Just a few bubbles, and the heart to notice someone crying in silence. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this. Sparkling Heart. Sometimes, it's the smallest kindness from the most unexpected people that changes everything. Speech balloon, tell us below. Have you ever witnessed a small act of kindness that made a huge impact? Do you believe moments like these can reshape how we see others?